Hi, Dr. Kelly here. I want to talk to you about the components of food and what the food that you eat is comprised of. I want to talk to you about the 3 macronutrients of food specifically. Everything that you eat is either a fat, a carbohydrate, or a protein, or a combination of 1 to 3 of those macronutrients. And the reason that it's important to get a grasp on what the food that you're consuming is made from is number one, the more that you understand about the components of the food that you're eating, the more that you will be able to steer your own ship, so to speak, in regards to managing your weight, increasing your fitness, developing more muscle, or creating more muscle definition in the course of impacting your fitness or becoming more fit. So I just want to cover what the 3 macronutrients are and some of the foods that fall under those categories. Fat, some of the things that you might find in the fat category: olive oil, butter, avocados. Carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates in general can be broken down into 2 different types: starchy carbohydrates and fibrous carbohydrates. And the difference between the 2, starchy carbohydrates, many of the starchy carbohydrates tend to be man-made, or at least man plays a role in production where those are concerned. Certainly rice, potatoes, those are carbohydrates that are grown. Bread, pasta, cakes, cookies, desserts. Starchy carbohydrates tend to be the type of carbohydrates that your body rapidly breaks down into blood sugar, and if you're not burning these carbohydrates through physical activity or exercise, these type of carbohydrates are easily stored by your body as body fat. Fibrous carbohydrates tend to be the natural sugars that occur in vegetables. The body has a little harder time breaking down the components of fibrous carbohydrates or vegetables and accessing and utilizing the sugars that are naturally occurring in these type of food. Consequently, many dietary approaches which encourage more of a fibrous intake of carbohydrate as opposed to starchy carbohydrates tend to lead to more successful weight loss. And that really comes down to the difference in the rapidity between the 2 in terms of how rapid the sugars in each of these carbohydrates are stored. Starchy carbohydrates, like I said, tend to be broken down more rapidly. Fibrous carbohydrates tend to be broken down slower and are not as readily accessible by the body. Proteins tend to come in the form of meats such as chicken, fish, beef, pork. Protein from vegetables in the form of soy. Protein from dairy in terms of in the form of cottage cheese or yogurts. But the main takeaway that I want I want you to come away with today is that fats, carbohydrates, protein, they're all important in your diet. Elimination of any particular one of these is not something that I would recommend. On the other hand, in the process of trying to lose weight or trying to become more fit, learning to eat these foods in a very strategic manner is something that I will teach, and it's something that I will encourage, because if you don't know how to approach ingestion and of these components of food, you're at a disadvantage. And consequently, that's why when it comes down to just looking at food as simply calories and not understanding that some foods can be taken in greater quantities than other foods without detriment in terms of gaining weight, then that's what I want you to understand as we go along, that part of losing weight and gaining control over your level of fitness and over your ability to lose weight and maintain weight loss will come down to learning how to eat these foods in a more strategic manner. And that's something that we're going to be looking at. It's something that as you keep coming back to these videos, I'll get more specific about, and we'll get down to brass tacks and look at how fitness athletes, natural bodybuilders, those people who have attained a level of physicality or the physical attributes that many people seek, looking at how those people eat, because the dietary patterns and as well as the exercise patterns that those people utilize are very specific, and that's what we're going to be looking at over the course of this year. So come back, keep checking back, coming back to this site and checking in, because we're going to dive deeper into the nuts and bolts of all of this. I thank you for coming and checking out the video, and I'll see you next time.